And there was a bunch of illnesses on the injury report. Is that something that you have to take extra measures against? It's something, I don't know how contagious it is or what.
Yeah, I mean it's this time of year. I doubt we're the only team dealing with it, and so we're washing our hands. We're being very diligent. Guys have masks on. You do what you can. So whoever's available here on game day, we'll look to win with, and if a guy can't go, then we'll be ready.
On Tuesday, Caleb told us that there were points in the summer where he felt that his relationship with you was, in his words, fragile. When you reflect back on some of the early stages of navigating some of that with him, what do you see from that time in terms of how you guys were going about things?
Yeah, I would say probably a lot of my closest friends would tell you the same thing. So I think of a guy that was in my wedding. One of my best men was Drew Petzing, who's the coordinator for Arizona. I think he would tell you the first 2 months that we were together at Boston College, we didn't say a whole lot to each other, but it's just kind of how it is sometimes. I treat Caleb like I do the rest of the guys. I love all these guys, and comes from a good place. I just want them to become the best player that they can be and grow as men as well. So I think he understands that, and we're at a good spot right now.
The last play of your last game ended the way it did. Do you believe in momentum kind of carrying over from one week to the next?
I think it's hard to go from week to week like that necessarily, but I do think within a game that certainly is a part of the game. You feed off of each other, and one play in special teams can piggyback on over to offense or defense, or a turnover can take away, can spiral into points for you on offense. And so I do believe in that within a game. I think it's a little bit more difficult there over the course of each game's its own story. I said that a few times, and so yeah, I do think it within a game though.
In terms of quarterback play, can a big finish like that do something for Caleb, or give him any sort of boost?
Well, I think he's gotten more comfortable in the offense and what we're asking him to do throughout. I don't think he lacks for confidence to start with, and so I don't necessarily think that that's a confidence builder. But I do think the best thing about that was it looked exactly like that in practice, and we've had a few plays like that over the course of the season where what we did in practice has transitioned almost identical to the game. And that's a credit to our coaching staff putting in the plays and seeing it through, and the players kind of bringing it to life like that. I think it's pretty cool when that happens. Hopefully we have a little bit more of that go on this week.
And we talked to you about Tooney when you guys got him in the summer. Now that you've had almost a full season, how do you describe what he means, what his impact is?
Yeah, I mean he's just a winner. He knows what it looks like. Gets his work done. I think he's a positive influence throughout the week of preparation. I mean, we just went in a walkthrough, and he's the same guy every single day. The model of consistency in terms of his performance, but also in terms of how he goes about his craft. And then in the game, he just what you're going to get every single week. He's been very durable. He's very smart, and I think he's been a huge part of our success up front.
The Lions were eliminated yesterday. Do you have any sense of Ian's attitude about resting guys versus not resting guys? And what's yours? Do you have a general philosophy about if there's nothing to gain in week 18, kind of what direction?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about anything beyond this game right now. I'd be doing our guys a disservice. We got a really tough opponent at hand here this week, and we're going out to Santa Clara, across the country, and they're hot right now. That's all I really care about is finding a way to go 1-0 this week.
How does Burden look?
Burden?
Yeah.
He looks like Burden.
And have you seen him, I mean, over the couple of practices you've had, look like his old self, I guess?
Yeah, in some ways. Yeah.
We've talked to you for months about Deshaun, and obviously his takeaway total is pretty impressive, but the nature of them feels like 7 of the 9 have been huge moments for you. What have you made of that in terms of his timeliness with what he's done?
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but he has been clutch like that. I agree with you. They've been in critical moments, and our team has needed them to really get the momentum going in our favor, as we talk about. So he just has a knack for that, and I don't know if you can necessarily coach it, but he just I've been saying all along, he's so conscious of where that ball is, and he can't wait to make a play on it. And so it's a great trait to have.
Did you know much or anything about him when you set foot in here?
Not really. Not. I mean, obviously Al knows him best, and so he vouched for him. And I know he was in Minnesota last year, but don't recall him playing a whole lot. And so when we got him, it was a good surprise. I mean, he's a guy that we walks in the building, you're like, holy cow! Like this is he's got such great length that it's very difficult to get the ball around him, and he can play tight coverage and transition really well as also. So, I think those traits are really rare at that position. Um, and I think what I've been most impressed about is for such a long guy that might look skinny off the cuff, like he is still a physical football player. He'll come up and play run support and still hit you, which we really value in our secondary. We need guys, our little guys got to come up and tackle.
Swift, I think, needs 50 yards or so to get a career high for a season. Beyond him staying on the right path, what do you appreciated about him this year? Is there anything that surprised you, having known him earlier?
No, this is the player I've always thought he could be and really has been in spurts over the course of his career. He's just being very consistent. He's very deliberate with what he's doing. I think Eric Bieniemy's done a fantastic job with him. I mean, you guys see him out there. You see EB out there. Like this is a very demanding coach, and he's always on those guys. I think that's a good thing. I really do. I think as much as it might, they might not like it at times. It overall, I mean, it just you can't let up when you have a coach like that, and so I think it's brought the best out of that entire room. I think the fact that you see Kyle have a little bit of success, I think that helps the competition in that room as well. You just can't let your foot off the gas. And but no, Swifty's always had this ability. I've seen it. I saw it firsthand when he was a rookie, all the way until now. So none of it surprises me. Not one iota. I think he's doing a great job lowering his pads, playing physical. Um, he's continuing to make guys miss at the second and third level, and we're getting big plays.
As far as leadership goes in your position throughout your coaching career, guys you've been around, what are kind of some of the traits you've identified as like non-negotiable to be a good leader in your spot?
For a head coach, oh shoot, man, those are big picture questions. Um, I always go back to what Mike Sherman used to tell me about being a coordinator or being a head coach back when I was in Miami with him, and he said you just gotta be consistent at all times. Everyone, it's so easy to ride the wave in this league of the wins and the losses, the ups and downs, and yet the head coach needs to just be as steady Eddie as he can possibly be. And so that's what I try to do. That's what the best ones I've been around do, is that they're the ultimate pendulum. When things get a little bit too high, you make sure to keep everybody grounded, and when things are a little bit low, you make sure to raise up the sea level a little bit. And so I do my best to emulate that. I can't tell you I'm the best I've ever been around in that regard, but I think I'll continue to grow.
I'll counter with a smaller picture question.
Yeah.
Rob Sally, going against his defense, what do you kind of the trademarks of it that your guys need to know to be kind of ready for?
Well, I mean, it's all. Well, I shouldn't say it's all. It starts with play style with them, and it's been that way ever since he's been coaching. I think I went against the Jets one time when he was there. It's a trademark of that defense. It's a trademark of San Francisco's defense now. These guys go all out every single snap. They try to get as many defenders in the frame at the end of the play that you possibly can. And so I think that right there, when you know it's a play style like that, that's a challenge in and of itself, because they could potentially out effort you if you allow them to do that. And so that's a huge point of emphasis for us here this week. I think the front is a unique front where there's a number of teams that do it. The most recent one we saw that was similar was Cleveland, where it's the wide nine. They're jetting up off the ball. I overlap with Chris Kasurik, their D-line coach, for a season or two there in Miami. I think he's outstanding at what he does. He gets those guys to go flying off the football. It's very hard to simulate in a week of practice like this, and to where you can get shocked by it, much like I talked about against Cleveland. Like those guys come flying off the ball. So it's a unique front, speed at the second level, good cover guys. He mixes up the coverages. Used to be you could just count on it being cover three. It's not that case anymore. He does a good job mixing in the mans, the shell coverages. you know, and has a little bit more front variety than maybe he's had in the past. And so it makes it very, very difficult. But I always stand firm. The trademark of a Robert Saleh defense is how hard they play, and that shows up on tape.
And the other side of the ball, they've scored 94 points since the last time they punted. When you're watching the film, how do you describe the groove that they've been in here for?
Yeah, I mean, they're hot right now. I think the play caller, I think Shanahan, I think I said it a few days ago, he's one of the best in the business at doing this. And, you know, the playmakers are some of the top of their positions between Kittle and McCaffrey. Purdy's coming on. He does a great job throwing with timing and anticipation. And if you give him time back there, he can cut you up. And so the only thing that's a little bit different than the San Francisco offenses of the past is that they probably feature in the pass a little bit more than they are the run. And you know, like I said, they're hot right now, and so we got to be on our mess.
Did you get a good Christmas gift?
When was Christmas? All right, guys.
Thanks,